Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me. Of course, I'm back with more Transformers. As you guys can see, this time is Decepticon Straxus. This is from their comic book line from Hasbro. So really cool looking figure. I got this from Hasbro Pulse for $54.99, so $55 US. Onto Straxus here, you got the awesome packaging here with a blaster between two worlds. So again, very comic book like. Here on the left side, you've got the Straxus art that connects to Grimlock and then also Shockwave. So over here on the back, of course, you've got more comic book art here, I guess. So you've got him chasing someone, and you got Straxus fighting Blaster there, and you've got the action figure, of course, and you've got him in his alt mode. As you guys could see, that is essentially Galvatron. So this is a retool of Galvatron, and you've got more comic book like artwork here. And then also here on the top, you've got what looks to be Megatron and the Seekers here and Shockwave. So a lot of Decepticons, and then you've got Straxus there. And then this has Velcro that holds it together, which is really cool. No plastic window, unfortunately, so if you were looking for a nice plastic window to protect your figure, you are not getting that here. And of course, here in different languages, you got a bit about Straxus and how he rules over the smelting pools of Polyhex. So you can read that all at your own on your own time. But here you go. That's how the figure comes in. You've got, looks like his cannon and additional his axe there, and you've got the figure itself. So I'm going to get this out of here and give you guys a closer look. Out of the box, you do get your instructions, right? So you can look at those. Accessory wise, you get this awesome axe. It's done in all silver here, but it's pretty sizable. It's nice chunk of plastic here. Really cool. And you've got some joints here to move these. They're a little stiff on mine again. I just kind of took this out of the box, but you can move them in and out like so if you wanted to. And of course, this being a weapon, he can of course hold this in his hand. You've got the peg for it here, so if you wanted to your Straxus to hold the axe in place, he can definitely do that. The other accessory here, or weapon besides his axe, is his cannon. He did have this in his alt mode, which is very similar to Galvatron's. So I guess this was the one way of including this to make the alt mode look more accurate. But it's really well done, I would say. I love the blue. The hue of blue that they've picked here is very Optimus Prime-like. And you've got the black streaks there are the, obviously, comic book colors that they add, all this shadowing detail. And, you know, the inside here has got some nice molding or sculpt there done. And you've got pegs here and here. This peg here, I believe, is for the alt mode, and this one's for storage. So if you wanted to, you can store his weapon here on his back. There is a peg there to store the cannon when in robot mode, and also there is a peg here to store the axe. So if you wanted to peg the axe in place here like so, you that is really it as far as the accessories. Of course, then the next thing would be to move on to the figure itself. Let's give Straxus here a closer look. We've got the awesome red and blue colors in this guy. So starting over here from the top, let's get a better look at that awesome face, which I think is the best part of this figure there. You've got definitely Straxus from the comic. You've got the black shading. You've got the Decepticon insignia there on the top, and the head's got a very peculiar shape. Again, pretty much what was in the comic. You've got the eyes there in black, and you've got pretty much, he had like no mouth, but you've got the bottom section there. So definitely really nice looking head. The shoulders here are pretty much lifted from Galvatron. So if you have that figure, pretty much is what you get there. The instructions tell you that they should be like this, you know, so you can display them like that, or they also come in the box like this. So depending on how you like it, you can display yours any which way. Moving on down here to the chest. I don't know if you guys could see that you've got the little dots there to sort of represent the comic, you know, coloring and artwork, right? And you've got this nice triangles again to for Straxus here on the chest on both sides. You've got this nice red piece here in the center on the chest. This is what's been retooled from the Galvatron figure. And then you've got more black here underneath for the coloring. Moving on down to the waist, same thing. You got little spots here with black, right, with the blue that looks really nice. You still got those nice side skirts from Galvatron that move out of the way if you need them to. These are just a different color. And then moving on down here to the legs. The legs are this nice lighter gray. Again, these are pretty much the same that we got with Galvatron here. And then the legs, bottom going on down right below the knee, same thing. But you've got this nice black, you know, comic accurate, I guess, or comic like coloring on both sides here and here on the leg. And then looking at the arms here, this is pretty much the same arms that we got with Galvatron. They are in red, of course, and in gray that you see them there. And of course, continuing the whole comic accurate look, you've got the black here. This is like a flat black here on the forearm. And you've got the more like a shiny or gloss black here on the fists. A Galvatron here had his thread tanks from his tank mode or cannon mode. This guy has a different piece. And yeah, and then looking on the back, of course, he does have a bit of a backpack, but you know, pretty much the same thing that we got on Galvatron there. As far as articulation, you're going to get the same articulation you got with Galvatron, so you can move the head all the way around if you wanted to on this guy. The arms here, you can rotate them. You've got some bicep here that you can turn all the way around. The elbows here are double jointed for the transformation, but you know, that'll help you with some posing. And then the hands here rotate. They're just one single solid piece. The waist here, you can turn this guy fully around if you wanted to. The back piece here kind of gets in the way, so you might have to undo it to get a bit more, there you go, if you move the skirts out of the way, just to get some more rotation. But he can move, you know, you can get some good, I think, poses out of the waist there. The hip skirt here on the sides, of course, they move out of the way pretty nicely, and then the front as well. So he can kick back about that much, and then knee 90 degrees. And then these can rotate here. You've got a joint here, you can rotate the leg in. He could do a pretty cool split. He does have ankle articulation. That's about all you'll get here. You can pull this out a little more perhaps. That's part of the transformation, but then he'll look a little disjointed. But I think you'll be able to get this guy, and he's in some decent poses. He can stand pretty well. Going back here, you've got these two pieces here that just help him to hold this pose in place pretty well. So yeah, overall I'm liking this thing. Again, I'm familiar with the character from the comic book, and I do from remembering what was in that comic, this is I think you know, pretty good look to what we got there. So again, I think they've done an awesome job with taking that Galvatron and retooling certain pieces to give us this figure there. But really nice. Really cool. As far as the transformation on this guy, it's kind of similar to that Galvatron, but you know, I'll show you guys, I'll walk you through it. First thing to do is take these fists. You'll see there's a little slot here for this tab here on the forearm to tab in. So before we do that, we're going to fold this fist in. To use this double joint, everything kind of tabs in place like so. Same thing here. You're going to take this arm, fold it in, move the elbow till it tabs in like so. Then this little piece here, you're going to swing this, you're going to fold this down and then swing this in. You'll see that there's a tab here, and there's a little section there for the tab to tab in, and you'll be left with something like that. And then you end up doing the same thing here, right? You're going to fold this forward, tab this in, and then boom, you're good to go there. And you can just move these out for now. We'll play around with them later. Next thing to do here would be the legs. So a couple of things to do here is hide these back heels. So just fold them in. Take these sections here. You're going to fold these out. And this little section here is going to tab here. So you're going to fold it in and just tab it in like so. Same thing here, you're gonna untab this here and then tab it back in here, just fold it in place, and you'll be left with something like that. Then you can turn these legs around. These are gonna joint in different places, so you gotta tab here, you gotta tab here, and you gotta tab here, and that's all going to match up with this legs here. So just spin these here by the leg and things will line up, and once they do, you can tab everything in place like so. Now you can leave that be. Next thing to do would be to untab here the back just a little bit, untab it from the back here, just leave it hanging for now. Next thing to do is these arms. So these kind of pull out, so if you wanted to, you could just pull them out like so, and then there's it's a little accordion action there, so pull this out and you'll be left with something that looks like that. Now, next thing to do here is we're gonna undo this chest here and pull this out a little bit and take this section now, the back, I don't know if you guys can see that here, pull it out, and that'll let you hide the head in here and swing this whole front chest part up. So we're gonna do that, and you're gonna hide the head in there, and the chest is gonna sit like so. Then you can take this section and close it back up like that. Now, next thing to do here is we're gonna swing this whole bottom section and have it sit against here, and then these legs here, we're gonna swing them out towards the back, so they're gonna sit somewhere like so for now. So you'll be left with something that looks like this, and then now that will allow you to take this whole section and you'll be left with something like this. All right, so next thing to do here is move these things out of the way. These hip skirts, get them out of the way too, just swing them up like that, and then just to tab things in, take this back section. There are two tabs under here that are going to tab into the back of these legs. That'll help to keep the legs in place, and that'll sit nice and flush. It'll bring everything together in like so. Now, next thing to do is take this and just gonna swing it here. There is a tab here that's gonna tab into this red part here, and like so, you'll see it there. And then now we can take this hip skirt here and just tab it into the shoulder part. So same thing here, you're going to take that, take the hip skirt here, tab it in place, and then these have to be brought together like so. There's a little section here on this chest part and the lower part that will grab each side, so just you gotta take so you have to take this little tab here and tab it into the chest, so like that. I don't know if you guys saw that. Same thing here. So that it sits like so. That'll grab right in. Let's get this back here. Make sure everything's kind of in place. Then you're going to take these two chest sections here and you're just going to fold them in so that they're now at an angle like so. Take this top part here and just lift it up and then swing it forward. That'll tab into this section here. Tab that in, and at that point you're almost done. Just got to do a couple of things here with the legs. So the legs here, once they're together, you could take starting from here and pull them down. You'll see they'll come apart. Take them as far as they can go, and then that's it. But then the feet here you can swing out, and you'll see these two I guess longer plastic pieces here. Just pull them out, and then that kind of finishes the legs there. Then the last thing, a couple of the last things to do is the cannon here. you could just fit this like so, tabs right in, some part forming action there with the cannon. And then the last thing to do is this axe here. So you're going to take this little tab section here and tab it up here to the top. And then you're going to take the little wings here on the axe here and just put them at an angle slightly. That's the joints I showed you earlier. And at that point, you are done. This is, I think it was some kind of flying ship cannon thing in the comic, and this is very accurate, at least from what I see, from what I remember. So yeah, there you go. That is your cannon mode. Let me fix the camera, give you guys a bit of a better look, and yeah, there you go. The transformation was pretty similar to Galvatron there. So if you have that figure, this is pretty much just about the same, you know, other than the parts that were retooled. This mode, I'm not too crazy about it. Again, I know it is very similar to what was in the comic book. And here you can see some of, you know, the line work and comic accurate, I guess, little ink dots or whatever you want to call it. You've got, you know, the same thing, you know, from the forearms. You got the black line work here. The cannon, again, has a black line work here in this section here that holds the cannon in place. Also has that little black line work. So they were, you know, at least pretty good about adding this whole black shading to simulate that comic accurate thing. I'm not too crazy about the back. It looks a bit disjointed. I know Galvatron was the same way. But for me, the money shot with this figure is kind of here from like 3/4 from the front. I believe he also flew in the comic, so you know, you can do that. He has wheels on the bottom here. So there's wheels here on, you know, these sections here, and then there's wheels back here that roll really well. So if you want to roll this guy, no problems, he can roll. But as I said, I think this view right here really does it for me, specifically like the way the they were able to sort of put the axe here and then sort of simulate the little winglets that I believe he also had in the comic. So really cool. And again, you've still got that nice red and blue deco with some of the silver going on. So really cool. So that's the back. That is the side. Here we got the front. And then this is the bottom, which kind of looks messy in all honesty. But, you know, I'm not going to display my figure like this. Most of the time, I'll be displaying it like this. And I do think that mode is pretty cool. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the comparison, starting first with his mold mate, as I'm going to call him, Galvatron here. And we'll go over some of the differences and similarities. So right off the bat, obviously, heads are completely different. The chest section here is completely retooled, right? You've got this whole nice big panels on the left and the right, and this right red center panel, which is completely different than the Galvatron here. The side skirt here, or the middle skirt actually, the waist flap, again, it's bigger, so you got this whole nice blue section, whereas on Galvatron it's just this small purple section. The legs are pretty much the same, and then getting on down to the knee area, Galvatron here has this purple like knee guards that are higher up, whereas he doesn't, right? So Straxus here doesn't have those pieces. Moving on down, you can see on Straxus here on the legs, he still has a remnant of the black pieces that Galvatron does, but these are not painted. And, you know, it's lacking some of the sculpt here. And then moving on down here to the feet, you know, you've got the same sections. The feet are essentially the same. They're just painted differently. Forearms are different. The fists are the same. The forearms, again, they're sculpted totally different shapes. So those are different. And then you've got the shoulders here and the bicep area, which are pretty much the same, just color different. If you're wondering why my Galvatron has his elbows on backwards, it's because I got an early copy, and when this guy came out, Free Kingdom, some of the joints on the shoulders, I think, were misassembled, so they sat a little lower. In this case, I believe the older, a later revision of this guy had the shoulders fixed in right. Obviously, no cannon here on Straxus, but you do have that nice cannon on Galvatron. And here you could see these side pieces on the arms. These are more plain looking, whereas on Galvatron there are these thread tracks with the wheels, etc. Going on down back here to the back of the legs are pretty much all the same. They're just, again, painted differently. And this whole back part looks like it was retooled. Again, Straxus here has a bit more of a backpack. Galvatron's is a little more compact, I would say, from there. But that's pretty much it. Again, I like that they were able to take Galvatron here and retool him and give us this nice figure of Straxus. I also do have Shockwave here. This is the first one that came out in this comic line. I do think the coloring that they've done on Shockwave is a little better done than Straxus here, but just want to show them there together. And then if you move Shockwave here out of the way, one of the bigger ones that we got was Grimlock here. Give you guys a bit of a better look. Now, Straxus is no slouch height-wise, but of course, Grimlock is Grimlock, so he is much, much bigger. And again, I do think that the whole comic thing was done a little better than Straxus here as far as the line work and the little dots and everything. So it's a lot more noticeable there. But that's Grimlock. And then just had a couple of other Decepticons here and Autobots. So why not start off with Tarn? Tarn is from the IDW comic books. So just want to show you guys, see what that looks like there. Tarn is smaller, a lot slimmer as well than Straxus. And they also retooled that into Bludgeon, at least this one version of Bludgeon. They made another one. So they took that Tarn mold and did that, which looks pretty cool. And again, you guys could see that. Bludgeon is much smaller. We'll move him out. And then, why not another comic guy, G-Axis from G2, I believe. And I think these two look really cool together. I think when I display them, I'll probably end up displaying them with G-Axis here and Tarn and Bludgeon with Straxus. So that looks really cool. I'll move that out. Why not bring in Cyclonus? This is Kingdom Cyclonus. Very similar in height. Get him out. Coming back to the comic, I also do have this Death's Head. This is a Marvel Legends figure, but because it's Transformer adjacent, I decided to get it to add to the collection there. Pretty similar in size. And then we'll move Death's Head there out of the way. Why not? Let's throw in Optimus Prime. This is Earthrise Optimus again. So Optimus is a little smaller, but I'm okay with that. I prefer the bad guys to always be slightly bigger or bigger than the good guys. Why not throw in this? It has nothing to do with it, but this is the Bumblebee movie. No, not the Bumblebee movie. Sorry, the Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime. I think this is SS-102 or something like that. And he is smaller than Straxus, so I'll move him out. Then we'll bring in Megatron. This is the Fracture Friendship Megatron. It became part as a 2-pack, and then this is based on the Siege mold. But I think they'll look pretty good together. Again, Straxus there is much bigger. And then if you want to compare axes, that's the axe that he came with. This is the axe that Straxus comes with. Alright, so we'll move Megatron here out of the way. And then here's the Orion packs that came with that Megatron you just saw. This is part of, again, of the Fracture Friendship. So I want to say they're similar in size. It's just that Optimus here has got the more spread out look. I think if we did the same thing, they'd be a little similar in size, but Straxus is a tad bigger. So we'll move Orion out of the way. Here is Kingdom Rodimus Prime. There we go. Pretty cool. And then we have Armada Optimus. I just kind of had him out They're looking all cool, so I figure why not? Let's throw them up there for comparison. Move Optimus out here, and then the last one here is Studio Series 86 Blaster. Just want to show him off, but overall pretty cool. He is a little bigger than most bots, but you know, as I said, I don't mind my bad guys here being bigger than most, but pretty cool figure. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for me. Let me know your thoughts on this figure. Personally, I do like it. I think he's a faithful representation of that comic book Straxus that we got way back when, and I'm glad they've kind of started to expand in different directions with all these new Transformer figures, whether it's a comic, movie, G1, Armada, whatever have you. I think this is a really nice figure and a great addition to anyone's collection. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, certainly please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you so much if you made it to the very end of the video. Really appreciate your support, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.